What's up, guys? Today's Earth Day, and everyone's talking about climate change. One of the key things around the climate change debate that I think needs to get more attention is the role that Bitcoin mining can play. What do I mean? All the critics, they keep yelling and screaming, saying Bitcoin is using too much energy. But actually, when you go and you do a deep dive, you study exactly how Bitcoin mining works, what you realize is that Bitcoin mining has two key components to it that end up having it be a positive for climate change efforts. The first is that it can actually stabilize electrical grids. Even though people are moving to renewables, things like wind and solar, ultimately what happens is that Mother Nature turns off those sources of power. So that leads to grids sometimes having surpluses and other times having deficits. When you introduce something like Bitcoin mining, what the grid is able to do is in those surplus moments, they can offload that power and use it to mine Bitcoin. And then all of a sudden, when they have those deficits, they can take the power that's been diverted and bring it back onto the grid. Stabilization of the grid means that renewable energy actually becomes much more viable for very large energy consumption geographies. And so ultimately, Bitcoin mining, stabilizing grids, leads to more renewable energy, which is good for the environment. The second thing is that Bitcoin miners have raced around the world to do gas flare capture. Ultimately, when you are looking for oil and you're drilling, a lot of that gas ends up getting flared off. Super destructive to the environment. It's one of the worst things that we as humans do to the earth. But now Bitcoin miners, they go right to the wellhead, and right at that point that gas is being flared, they capture it. They turn it into true energy and electricity, and then they mine Bitcoin with it. The fact that they can do this anywhere means that there's no cost to actually moving that energy somewhere else. And so you drop the cost of doing the gas flare capture, and then you turn your waste stream into a revenue stream. Gas flare capture as a way to go ahead and power Bitcoin mining has become a massive, massive business. We know that ConocoPhillips, Exxon, and many others who aren't publicly talking about it, these large energy producers, they're all doing it. And my guess is that this is going to become one of their most popular use cases for that gas flare. Now, whether we're talking about stabilizing grids or gas flare capture, what we know is that Bitcoin mining is driving R&D in the renewable energy space. We know that Bitcoin mining is having a positive impact on climate change efforts. And ultimately, Bitcoin miners, regardless of what the critics say, is going to be one of the key solutions. It's still in the early days, and there's a lot of work to do. We still have a lot of research and also just hard work that we got to go build infrastructure and get this stuff working. But the promise of Bitcoin mining and its positive impact on the climate change situation is quite encouraging. I hope that you go learn more about it. If you're into Earth Day, if you're into climate change mitigation, you should be into Bitcoin mining. I think if you do the work, you'll come away very happy. Hey you, did you like this video? Great, we make 5 of them a day and post them here on this channel. Make sure you're subscribed, like the video, and see you next time.